Kyle, we get to talk about your favorite tradition in college football, Iowa football, except Iowa State. Iowa State Cyclones, but they're not that different. They really aren't. Iowa State just coming off an ugly game in which they lost to Kansas State 10-9. Previous game against Kansas, they put up 11. They actually put up 20 points against Baylor a couple weeks ago, 24. But 10 points has been about where they top out this year, literally in 10-7 against the Iowa Hawkeyes in their interstate rivalry game. They get to play the Longhorns. And what we learned in the Oklahoma, go back and watch that video if you haven't already. What we learned is this offense, when they are at full strength, is one of the best in college football. Hands down, I know they were going against a weak Oklahoma Sooners defense, but hands down, this offense, when it is at full tilt, full arsenal, is deadly. Can Iowa State stop this Texas Longhorns offense?
Well, you said they're hands down one of the best offenses in college football, and I prefer a horns down best offense in college football.
No. None of that. Not this week, my friend. Not this week.
You mentioned the rivalry between Iowa State and Iowa, which has my favorite name in the world. It's been unofficially dubbed by the internet El Asico, which is a perfect name for that rivalry. And because it's 10-9 every year and neither team's going to end up doing something. Iowa State used to be so much fun on offense. They had Brock Purdy, they had Breece Hall, they had Montgomery for a minute. They used to actually try and have fun offenses, and now they're just like Brock super Purdy. Boring. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Like they were so much fun. They made a Fiesta Bowl one year. Now they're back to what Blake Jude and I call Maroon 5-5, which is every team in college football has a maroon team that just gives you 5-5. And it's Minnesota, it's Arizona State, it's Mississippi State, it's Iowa State, and it's Boston College. They give you 5-5 and walk away. Although I will say Iowa State is on that ladder of Texas Longhorns teams that they need to vanquish in order to return from their 8th place finish last year.
Yeah, I will say that. They clearly need to get this win, not only because they're a 16.5 point favorite currently, but because they need to exercise the demons of last year, because Iowa State was another game that they just let get away from them. They had to lead late and they just let the game get away from them. Now I'm coming off this Oklahoma game where you just smoked your rival. You just smoked Oklahoma 49-0, and you go in as a 16.5 point favorite. It's human. You just can't get pumped up in the same way for that game. Mentally, you're like looking at Iowa State and you're just kind of licking your chops, just thinking, oh, this is just an easy matchup. This is just one of those teams that they might as well be the New Mexico State Aggies. We just run over them. But it's not the case. This is still a Big 12 game. This is still a conference game. And we've learned from decades of watching college football that conference games, just look at the Pac-12, conference games can catch you sometimes. So even though this Iowa State offense is pathetic, he told me that they held time of possession, ran the ball, kept the Texas offense off the field, and this game ended up being a game that surprisingly went the under. I would not be surprised, because that's their only pathway to victory. That's their only pathway for victory for Iowa State, keeping this game low scoring. So if you're Texas and I'm saying I get the ball first. I want to put points on the board first, because if I just score 14 points, I might already have won this game.
Yeah, for sure. And on this ladder that I've imagined since the start of the season for Texas, like Texas has already jumped Iowa State in terms of getting from 8th place last year to wherever they want to go this year, which I think 8 wins in the Big 12 technically gets you like 3rd place this year. So if they're going to make that jump, they've technically already jumped Iowa State. 16.5 point spread reflects that. Like they are a better team than Iowa State. And Iowa State's path to victory is the way that all 17-point underdogs win games, which is force a ton of turnovers and control time of possession. That's usually the way it happens, unless some like absolute dumb shit happens, which probably won't. Like Texas won't suffer like an astronomically large number of injuries. The most likely scenario is turnovers and controlling time of possession. And I do think that Iowa State is going to lose this game, and it's more so a byproduct of what does Texas's offense look like against Iowa State's defense? And I think that'll be the interesting matchup, because the flip side is Iowa State's offense that's incapable of moving the ball down the field, and Texas's defense, which is like, 1 week we're going to give up 35 points, and the next week we're going to shut out Oklahoma and basically shut out Bama for 2 quarters.
I mean, at least Texas Tech is kind of explainable. I mean, Texas Tech does have an offense that has been able to put up points. We haven't seen it from Iowa State, the Cyclones, at all this year. Not to say that it couldn't happen this weekend. Knock on wood, hoping that's not the case. Horns up. We got this one, 16.5-point favorites. Don't let us down in this game, guys. All right, well, let us know your game prediction in the comments section below. Leave a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel. Follow us on social media. From Ju-Ju and Kyle, stay safe, happy, and healthy. We'll see you on the next one.